All right, well, we've seen this guy before. That's our quarterback hunter, John Dorsey, looking for quarterbacks. And I've kind of used this before, where this is my Halloween bucket in here looking for quarterbacks. And I'm going to go a little bit different. I got the little football out. These are kind of for the quarterbacks that aren't in the Big Four. The Big Four being Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold. Been talking about them and talking about them. But what about somebody else with the little football? I talked to an executive over the weekend. And this is a guy who did like Baker Mayfield because he's more analytics prone and whatever. And by the way, I keep hearing that the New York Jets like Baker Mayfield, could take him at number 3. But I said, who else is a guy that his team doesn't need a quarterback? So I said, who else is a guy that you think might be good kind of farther down the draft? And I was thinking he might say Lamar-Jackson from Louisville, because I have to admit, Lamar-Jackson does interest me. He's a terrific athlete. He's not a standard quarterback. He's run for over 3,000 yards the last 2 years. Over 3,000 yards and 39 touchdowns he's rushed for in the last 2 seasons. But he throws the ball fairly well, and I keep thinking, when you have such a remarkable athlete there playing that position, you should be able to do something with him. Terrell Pryor, for example, played in the NFL, some for a quarterback and later as a receiver, and Lamar-Jackson is a much better quarterback than Terrell Pryor. So Jackson was one, but this guy said he likes Mason-Rudolph. Mason-Rudolph, Oklahoma State. I have to admit, I kind of groaned a little bit. Oh, great, I'm doing this. Here's these guys. Remember, these are these guys that are in the, here we go. You get to throw the ball to me. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, hut. They're in the shotgun formation all the time. The Big 12, no plays, heave the ball downfield, and everybody goes out and racks up big numbers. But Mason-Rudolph, 6'5", 230 pounds. I know he came from the alma mater, Oklahoma State, that gave the Browns, dun-dun, dun-dun, Brandon Weeden. But this guy said to me, this executive, he goes, we think he could be a little like Kirk Cousins, who, by the way, right now is the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Nobody thought much about Kirk Cousins when he came out in the same draft with RG3, Robert Griffin III, and Andrew Luck back in 2000, or, by the way, Brandon Weeden, 2012. Cousins was from Michigan State, sort of an afterthought. He said, we looked at our scouting reports on Cousins, and we've kind of looked at our reports on Mason-Rudolph, and he doesn't do anything super, but there's a lot of good things that he does. And if he goes to a team that's patient with him, he might end up being pretty good. In fact, now there are rumors, true or not, you got to watch it with the draft gets close to Bill Belichick, because obviously he doesn't want anything out that he's really going to do, that the Patriots like Mason-Rudolph. Meantime, Bruce Arians, former coach of the Arizona Cardinals, one of the top quarterback, I would say, gurus around, who just retired, says if he were with the Cardinals, he would suggest they take a strong look at Lamar-Jackson. So you got Lamar-Jackson and you have Mason-Rudolph. You got 2 quarterbacks, I call them the small ball quarterbacks. My guess is one of them is going to end up being a pretty good NFL quarterback. It's just hard to know which one. But it's been just fun to talk about somebody else besides the Big Four. And I guess of the 2, I would say keep your eye on Mason-Rudolph.